Catapulting Commissions family, what's up, team? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Catapulting Commissions podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Garcia. Got a treat for you today. I am still with Powerhouse Podcasting here in Bakersfield, California. They have become slowly my exclusive in-person studio where I bring guests in, so we're still recording here in my local community. I have two guests on the show today. And this is my first time having two guests live. I've had two guests before, but two guests live, so we're going to definitely dive in today. If you are in direct sales, if you are in network marketing, if you're a mother, if you're a family person, if you fall into this category, if you want to excel in a commissionable role, but have a family, have some balance, you're going to want to listen to today's show. This is going to be a full-on mastermind concept show. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk some strategies. My guests will ask me some questions. I will ask them some questions. We're going to get the opportunity to use this as a teachable moment. So you definitely want to save this show and get connected. Now, let me introduce my guest. First, my guest is Charlotte McKay. Now, Charlotte is a team leader, a successful small business owner of Phenom's Nails with Charlotte. In addition to running her team of over 30 stylists, Charlotte assists with her husband's construction company and is a busy mom to 3 young children and 2 fur babies. We love fur babies. In the year and a half of creating and running her Phenom's, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Phenomenals.
Man, I knew I was butchering it. Authentic show. We keep it going. In running Phenomenals with Charlotte, she has been recognized company-wide for outstanding achievements through her Circle of Excellence Award, is a top producer on her team, selling $52,000 in personal volume and a total of about $200,000 in group volume. Charlotte is determined and personable. She has found her passion in business through mentoring and bringing confidence to other women. Her perfect weekend includes a colorful set of nails, vanilla Coke, and some family time at the beach. Charlotte, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Perfect. My next guest, sitting to the left of Charlotte, is Kerry Knox. Now, Kerry, she's born and raised in Bakersfield. She has a fiance, 2 daughters under the age of 11. She's also a dog mom to 3 dogs. She's an independent stylist for a little over a year in the beauty industry. What initially attracted her to selling dry nail polish strips is finding the solution to feeling pretty in a quick, easy way with a brand new baby. Moms, did you hear that? You can be pretty with a brand new baby. With business comes leadership and mentorship. She is always in the ability to help others reach their full potential and finding confidence, hence her name. Oh boy. Carry confidence. I have been self-driven and self-motivated as she describes herself. She knows exactly what she wants. Within just a year, she's also achieved Circle of Excellence. Every month, she's earned a Punta Cana trip. She's been a top 50. Check this out, Catapulting Commissions family. Top 50 in enrolling out of 100,000 stylists. Don't know the percentage, but let's just say it's a fraction of 1%. I'm not going to embarrass myself here. She also co-leads a team of over 1,600 stylists and has personally enrolled 50 stylists. She prides herself on tackling objections and not letting the word no scare her. Carrie, welcome to the Catapulting Commissions podcast.
So glad to be here.
Glad to have you. So, ladies, let's talk here. We are talking to the Catapulting Commissions audience. There's people here that love what they do. There's people here, and I'm talking about the audience, not us here. People listening who love what they do. There's people who hate what they do. There's people who say, I wish I could make changes in my life. I have a sales background. I just don't know where to go. I don't know what I'm doing. The two of you have excelled in a direct sales organization. So I'd love to hear your background of where you started to where you're at today. So a little bit more color than what we just talked about on the bio. And I guess, Carrie, I'll start with you.
Yeah. So I got into retail at a very young age, 16 years old. I did go to college for a little bit. I went for psychology, actually. And funny story, like I just wanted to work with people, and I quit that and I excelled through retail, and I got into leadership, and I've been in a leadership role for over 20 years. And, I'm approaching, well, actually I'm not approaching, I'm in my 40s, and I never knew I could have a baby. Like it was crazy. I got pregnant out of nowhere. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. And, I knew I needed to do something different for me and my family. And, not to get all mushy here, but I was raised in a very poor household, and my mom had 3 different jobs, and she was a single mom. And I remember not having much time with my mother. And so once I found I was pregnant, it was one of those things that clicked, and I was like, you know what, I got to do more for me and for my family, and to be able to be there in my kids' lives. And so, that took me to, um, you know, I was introduced to this dry nail polish, and I was like, you know what, this stuff's amazing, and I can take off and, show all the women in the world that have kids or want to do this, that they can do it and they can have their own business. And so I did a lot of self-development and started my own business, and it's just been amazing.
Well, one, kudos for you. I think
you.
there's something to be said about having that external motivating factor, right? Simply saying, I had a baby, or I had to make changes. And then you look at your own life adversity, right? I was raised in an environment that I, it kind of molded you who you are today. And so to take that change, one, Cari, I think that's incredibly impressive. Two, Catapulting Commissions family, who we bring on the show, and I love, don't get me wrong, I love when I bring guests on. I mean, we've had Lauren Gibbs, Team USA athlete, Anton Gunn, former advisor to Barack Obama. These guys and gals are incredibly impactful. John Lee Dumas, one of the biggest influencers of all time. I love their stories, but I love yours a little bit more because yours is relatable to everyone listening to the show right now. So thank you for joining that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, moving on, Charlotte, tell us a little bit about your journey.
I went to school to be a preschool teacher, and then when it came time to have my own family, I realized I wanted to stay home with my children. So I've been a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 kids, ages 6 and under, and for a while I was helping my husband with our construction company, but I seen that we were not better business partners, so he took that over, and I was full-time mom. About 8 months pregnant into my 3rd pregnancy, I tried some dry nail polish strips, and I loved them. And it was the first time I had something that I could do quick without needing to find a babysitter to fit in some self-care. So I decided, if I seen the opportunity to help provide for my family, well, I could stay home with my children, not sacrifice that. And so I just really loved finding a way to bring in some self-care to others and confidence to other women. So I started my own business, and it really took off. I was able to do it with my 3 young children, and I've just really enjoyed it. I've had no sales background at all. I never even sold a box of chocolate growing up. It intimidated me. I was so worried about coming off salesy. But when it's something you love and it's something that provides a service to others, it makes it really enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, it's something to be said about loving what you're doing, right?
Yes.
So, one, love the background. I think the preschool teacher to badass business owner is a story we all can relate to, right? Mom of, you said 3 kids
3,
under 6?
yes.
Oh my goodness. You put some vodka in your water bottle back there. Oh my goodness. I totally get that. And we're all fur babies. And so or fur parents. I have 2 puppies at home, and then I have 3 kids under 6. One of my employees was at my house this week, and she has 2 kids under 3. And I was like, oh boy, you high five. You are a saint. I totally get that. My youngest is 12, turning 13 soon. So I forgot what those days were like. But awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you.
Let's break this down. All right, ladies, I got to be honest with you. You don't have that typical sales background that we have on the show. We're like, oh, I was trained by this company, or I've been in sales for 20 years and I've done this. Yet, you're excelling. You're not just working, you're excelling in a direct sales association, in a direct sales company. What was that transition like? Like, what was the fear you had to get? Because there had to be something for you to say, I'm going to leave what I'm comfortable with. Retail, teaching, helping the husband's family business, or whatever it is you were doing. You had to make a journey and say, okay, I'm going to switch. What was that journey like, and what was the number one hurdle you had to overcome to say, I'm going to take this on full time?
You want to go? You want to go? Okay. I think for me, it's my why, and my why was, being there for my children and my family more, and knowing that it's a mindset and a relatable thing. So like getting out there and, when you own your own business, and what I've learned is that it's more about making connections and not about the product. And so I've always been, I've been in retail and I've worked with people. And I think that was a thing where I was like, I can do this. I can leave and I'm going to make something happen because I'm relatable. I'm someone that can socialize with other people, someone that can let them know who I am, and I can ask them who they are and help make a difference in this world. So I think just it's a whole mindset that you can do it, I can do it, and it's really just taking the plunge. And the thing about me is I come from anxiety. And I fear change sometimes, and this was something that helped me in my personal life too. And I've actually grown so much in this whole last year.
Is what you're doing right now, have you found a newfound appreciation or devotion to personal development that you didn't have before?
Yes, actually, and that's the thing too. I read more.
Mm-hmm.
I read more self-development books. I do more for me, and like positive, like a positive, I'm trying to think of the word. I read a lot of positivity books, self-love books. I do a lot more because I'm not go. I have more free time. And so that's something too I love about my business is, I used to have to get up, go to work for 12, 14 hours a day, and I didn't have that time for myself. And so I do have that time now, and I'm running my own business.
Nice.
So
awesome. For you, Charlotte?
I would say my two biggest hurdles was worried about time. How would I fit in my own business with a brand new baby coming and two other small ones? And I had zero experience. So how would I have the time to learn, the ropes of the business? That was something that really was intimidating.
And I imagine, I'm going to go on a limb here. There's not a program in the world that says, hey, your life from when you were born, we're going to train you to be a direct sales executive and be a bona fide badass. So there's really no experience in saying this and coming out. So I think that's a big one. But the timing component, I'd love to peel some layers back there, Charlotte.
Okay.
I look at people who say, hey, you can come and do this direct sales association, this network marketing company, and you can keep your same job and you can dedicate a few hours of time and you can do this, right? And for every one of you who are successful, I know 10 that are struggling or didn't make it. Mm-hmm. Where did you find that time, and what has separated, we'll start with you, I guess. Okay. What has separated you from those that have tried something and haven't succeeded?
I would say that I use my pockets of time wisely. My schedule varies each day. Some people maybe can dedicate, a specific time each day to something, but I can't with my lifestyle. So the way I do it is if I'm waiting for dinner to cook, I use that 10 minutes to schedule out posts for my business. If I have, I'm waiting in the school pickup line, I am using that time to do follow-ups. So I'm using those pockets of time. There are a lot of pockets of time that I am intentional with. Same with scrolling. I used to scroll on my phone, get stuck on Pinterest for an hour. Mm-hmm. I was not making money off that. I was wasting time. So I am using that time wisely.
When you micromanage your time in that capacity, and every time and every minute's accounted for, you don't waste it. It's very similar, right? Whether you love him or hate him, Dave Ramsey, this Holding Money Makeover. I don't know if you've read the book before, but Dave Ramsey has this concept of, I'm going to assign every dollar a value. Like every dollar is going to go. I mean, it's a primitive form of how he's taught it many years ago. And when I wanted to get out of debt, that was one of the things I did. You just took your paycheck, you put it in cash. This envelope was this envelope was this. This was my food envelope. This was my entertainment envelope. When it was out, I was out. Everything was allocated. When you reverse engineer and you micromanage your time to that distinct ability, I'm going to do this at this time. I'm going to do this at this time. We are way more productive than we can possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big one that not a lot of people experience with. Not a lot of people realize that is a skill that is developed over time. So the attractiveness to that opportunity is your pockets of time are everywhere.
Yes.
And that's what I love. So you had to get comfortable in finding those pockets of time.
Absolutely. And make a few adjustments. I would say instead of watching TV for 30 minutes while I fold laundry, I'm listening to podcasts or self-development books.
I was just around a group of professional colleagues a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about all the shows that they watched. I mean, these and mind you, the professional colleagues I'm with, they're very successful, very well off people in a professional world. They have great income, great salaries, great commissionable lifestyles. They were talking about all the shows they watch. I don't watch that many shows. I was like, man, you guys watch way too much. I have to pick, right? I like sporting events, so I watch sporting events, but I can only watch certain ones. But I look at it, I'm like, it's what we do with our time. They all have that. I have a full-time podcast and media company that I run after hours, before hours, odd hours. We're here on a Saturday. So I'm like, everything's an exchange, right? I'm exchanging my time for something like that. So I get where you're coming from with that. Now, Cari, one of the things that I want to ask you on is when someone comes and says, hey, I want to work with you and I want to start my experience, I want to build this direct sales thing. How do you help them plan? Like what was your goal when you started? And if I'm new to you, how do you help me plan my goal?
So that's a great question because I actually can give myself kudos for being a planner. And it does take a little bit, but it definitely will help you out. So I love making checklists. So I am a checklist person, and I do love to ask anyone that comes to me what their goals are. That's where you got to start. What are your goals so I know how much time to invest in you? And so really making a daily consistent checklist and knowing, just like Charlotte said, finding the times in your day to knock those things off your checklist. And, things that are going to benefit your business. You need to prioritize. I love the ABC method of prioritizing and knocking those A things out right away. That's going to help your business be successful for that day. And so I want them to know, I'm going to be the best damn mentor to help you out. And these are the things that have helped me be successful. I think one of the big things I pride myself on is trying new things. If I fail at something, I'm going to learn why it didn't work, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to look for something new to try. And I love letting people know that come to me, I'm going to show you these ways that have helped me with success with my business. Whether you do it, that's up to you, but I want to teach you my ways.
Okay. So let's peel that back. So if you're going to teach me your ways on how you do things, let's say what's the number one objection, right? You guys both have a team that you lead, correct?
Correct.
We'll finish. We'll start with you, Cari. We'll work back way to Charlotte. What's the number one objection you hear from someone who's working with you saying that, I can't do this. Whatever the reason is, let's just talk that objection out.
It's time.
Time.
Yep. A lot of it's time.
Okay. Charlotte, for you?
It is also time.
Okay. So timing is the number one objection you hear on why people can't be successful within a direct sales organization. Yes.
If we want a second one, it would say they don't know enough people.
Lack of network.
Yes.
All right.
That's a good one.
So let's peel these two objections back. So in time, when someone tells you time, what do you hear?
I think when they tell me time, it's excuses.
Okay. So you hear excuses, which is fine. Yeah. 100%. We're going to be authentic.
Yeah. It's a lot of it's excuses because I have 2 children. We have a business at home another business at home as well. And we have a lot of things going on. We are all human. We have a lot going on in life. And you find those times in the day to do it. Just like Charlotte was talking, we might boil some water for some spaghetti and I'm sitting on there and I'm working my business. You know what I mean? Or I might be giving my baby a bath and I'm, sitting there on the toilet while she's playing and I'm working my business. So you find ways, but it's all about, is your business a priority?
Yes.
You know what I mean? If it's a priority to you and you treat it as a business, then you're going to make it happen.
Okay. Charlotte, anything to add on that?
I completely agree with that. And they can use some coaching on how to use their time more wisely.
Okay. When someone gives you that objection of time and they're telling you, I don't have the time to do something, Here's something I would encourage you ladies to consider. When someone tells you that, I love you're just telling me an excuse, but I'm gonna push back on you here. If you tell me, if I'm on the fence on wanting to join your organization, and you tell me you're giving me an excuse of time, I only think of things through my lens.
Yeah.
So my perspective is, F Cari. She has no idea what I'm going through. No matter what you just shared right now, what you have, whoever you're talking to is, you have it perfect. I don't. That's how they look at you. So when you say it's an excuse, they look at it and they say, no, that you have no idea. You're rude. You're not relatable. It's the reason the higher you climb in sales and sales leadership, you have less friends, right? Because you get surrounded with like-minded people, but people who aren't like-minded, they fall a couple layers away from your network because they like, So here's how I would approach that. And I think about that when someone says, I don't have time. I would just tell them there's two. I totally get it, right? We're going to empathize with people, but time as an objection. Listen, ladies, there's objections and there's conditions. And when someone tells you, I don't have time to excel in a direct sales organization, I would just point to ask them, look, I totally get it. And if you want me to handle the objection, I can, but there's objections and there's conditions. I'm going to give you an example. Yeah. Objection, I don't have time because I don't think it's a priority. I don't have time because I don't know how to make it a priority. That's an objection. Condition, time, I don't have time because I work a 16-hour-a-day job. I sleep for 6 hours, and the rest of the time I 24/7 round the clock on my mom, who's on ICU, who's on bed rest, and I have to observe and tend to her every need. I can't count the last time that I had 3 minutes to myself to take a shower. That's a condition.
Yeah.
When you create objections and conditions, when someone gives you an objection, it makes it a little friendlier for us to peel that layer back. Knowing that when you get an objection, most of the time it's a smoke signal, like it's a smoke screen. I look at it in the sales process. When someone gives me their initial objection, this is the first thing that comes to mind. Is this an objection or is this a condition? Because if it's a condition and I can't overcome it, not everyone's a perfect fit for your business, right? Yeah. We will agree on that. If it's a condition and you're not the ideal person, I know, I'm going to spend some time with you, but I'm not going to I'm not emptying the bank here. I'm not going to go full on in because this might not work. But if it's an objection, I just want to find out the root cause. So you're saying the root cause is it's an excuse. They don't know how to prioritize that time or identify that time. How do you help that person see that? And I guess I'll start with you this time, Charlotte. If someone comes with that time, how do you help that person see the value in the time spent with you? Like, what is the end result for them?
You kind of need to figure out their why, what motivates them, and let them know, if they are using this 20 minutes of time they have towards building their business, how it could benefit them and serve them. If I had a specific example, it would probably help. But
so let's just think about it. So how this can benefit you and help you.
Yes.
Let's just think, what are benefits to people? If I come work with you, what's the benefits to me saying yes to working with you?
You're in a really supportive community of women who empower each other.
Men can't join your community?
Or men as well.
Kind of rough. I'm just saying. I know I might want dryable nails. I'm just
men too. I actually have some men customers.
There you go.
So it's empowering. It is uplifting. You can help provide for your family or yourself. And I'm totally blanking. You can also earn vacations to get more time to relax as well.
Okay. So my benefit to working with you is I get a community. I get an uplifting environment. I get the opportunity to earn vacations, and I get the opportunity to make some money. Is that kind of a fair assessment?
And of course, free nail strips.
Free nail strips. Can't forget those. All right. So let's peel that back. So if my objection is time, I don't have time to work with you. We're gonna paint the benefits, right? So if we go to the psychology of why someone says yes or why someone says no, let's just think about this in its purest form. Now, neither one of you are professionally sales trained, correct? Is that a fair?
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So is the average person in your organization professionally sales trained?
No.
But you have some really successful people with you guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. So that goes to show, one, all sales training programs are full of crap. Can't say that out loud. I know some of the people who write the books on these, so I'm not It's a joke, guys. Back to this, right? But it goes to show that if you can solve a problem for somebody, they're going to say yes, and they're going to want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
The psychological reasons of why someone says yes or someone says no is based on this. And Charlotte, I know you've heard me talk about this, right? People say yes or no for one or two reasons. Can I provide a pleasure in your life, or can I help you avoid a pain? That's it. That is it. So the moment this opportunity is presented to someone to join your organization, I look at it like this. Let me flip roles. Let me get in your shoes. What is the pain you're experiencing, or what's the pleasure that I can provide? So I look at it and say, okay, if I was in this capacity and I'm listening, I'm like, okay, what is it that you can provide for me? I use my wife, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to have this conversation with my wife, vacations for my wife, she'd be like, you know what? We go on vacations all the time. My husband does this. That's not a pleasurable thing for her. But I look in the flip and the same, okay, what is a pain she's experiencing? You look at it and you hit the nail on the head. What both of you have said. You didn't realize it was a pain because you don't know my wife. But you guys are home more often. Mm-hmm. You have fur babies. My wife, literally, if tomorrow I said you could be a stay-at-home dog mom, it wouldn't even be. I couldn't even finish the sentence before she jumped in, right? So I'm using that as a hypothetical. But what I'm going is, we have to find out what the pain is this person. So if they tell you no, what's the pain they're going to continue to experience in their life? So if you come to me, you present the opportunity to me, and I say, I don't have enough time, they're saying no. What is the pain they continue to experience if they don't say yes to working with you?
I don't know if this answers your question, because the whole time you were talking right now, I was thinking, like, this is why I've been so successful with enrolling is I get to know people and find out more about their life and connections, and helping them find a solution. And it could be anywhere from they need more friendships. It could be anywhere from they want to be home also and want to do anything it takes to make that happen. It could be they just love the product so much and they want to show it off to everybody. So why not do the same thing? You know what I mean? So I don't know if that really answers your question, but it's a base by base, each person's different. But my main thing for when I enroll is being genuine and letting them know I understand and finding solutions to what they're wanting in life. It could be they just don't have any friends and they want to build connections. And I think that's one of the biggest thing I love about our business is the community.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I should say this, but I come from a high school that it was very cliquey, and I love, like, especially the women and the friendships, and yes, men, the men friendships, but I've always had more men friends than I have, women friends, but I think that's just a big thing, and I'm probably rambling, but I just, I think every person's different, and it's just, finding that solution for that person is what I go after when I enroll someone.
So high level,
yes,
that is why you are successful at enrolling people.
Yeah.
Because, we're going to come to you around, Charlotte, on a different question here. But what you shared, where I was going with this, is what's the pain that you solve for people, right? What's the pain to saying no? By you taking the time to truly understand people, you identify what the pain they're trying to overcome in their life. If I can show you a way to overcome the pain you're experiencing in your life, you'll join me. And one of the things that I teach in sales training is if I can make this pain a $10,000 a year pain, and I have a $5,000 a year product, my product is valuable. If a pain I create and I get you to acknowledge it's a $10,000 a year problem, you're hooked. Like you're mine. You're gonna say yes. It's not a question of if, but a question of when. Where people struggle sometimes is they don't spend enough time to uncover that pain and get the person to acknowledge the pain. Yeah. So I would even say that to anybody within your network that's listening that wants to enroll somebody, there's a component of what you just said. Get to know people, identify that pain. Remember, people say yes to avoid a pain or experience a pleasure. We'll go on the pain category right now. The other thing that I would get is to get somebody to acknowledge that pain to you. And here's how you do that. You simply say, just so I'm clear, Cari, you just told me right now one of the biggest challenges you're experiencing is you can't be home for your kids' soccer practice because you have to stay after work because whatever, someone requires you to spend overtime. How does that feel? And I would paint this vivid picture in your memory. How does it feel? How often does it happen? How does that impact your life? Right? How does that make you go to sleep at night?
Yeah.
And as I peel these layers back in an authentic fashion, right? These aren't, there's no cue cards that have this as a rapid conversation, right? So let me let's set that framework here, Catapulting Commissions family. We don't just rapid these off, but as I peel these layers back, every time that you tell me how the pain impacts you, you have just told me what's important to you. You have just told me you're trying to overcome something. So if I turn around and say, look, I get it. Give me an opportunity for 90 days. If I can alleviate these pains, your life's going to be changed forever. Yeah. If I can't, we tried something, no harm, no foul. But in return, I'm going to need you to give me 90 days 100%, and I'll give you 90 days of my 100%. I love it. I mean, I can enroll people in I want to be a guy to sell nails too, man. I love right? So I love that. So that's one of the things that was going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love that.
So Charlotte, one of the things that you mentioned earlier was a lack of network. When someone wants to work with you, they come to you and they say, I don't know anyone.
I get that a lot.
How do you overcome that?
So I help them identify people in their circles to start out with. I ask them, we have this thing called the Franks list we use with our teams. And so I help them work through their Franks list. Well, can you list down 15 people, 15 friends? What about spouse connections? What about your, your kids' connections, etc.? Your church. What about your doctor's office you visit a lot? So I help them see that their circle is bigger than they realize. Because when you think of like people I know, you're probably thinking of the 10 people you hang out with regularly.
Okay. Which I think we all identify who we know.
Yes.
When someone tells you, I don't know anyone, I don't have a network, what do you hear?
I'm hearing that they don't want to, or they are not considering how big the internet is and how big that their circles can help expand. So we are a party planning company. So in the background, I'm thinking, okay, well, if you host a party for your best friend Sally, she's going to invite 20 more people, and you network that way and you grow. But they have not had that idea presented to them or the opportunity to grow their network that way.
Okay. You know what I hear?
What do you hear?
I hear, I don't know anyone who's going to use this. So when someone tells you, I don't know anyone, and this is big in direct sales, it's so big that regardless if it's this organization you work for or the other organizations that I've worked with, coached or mentored before, when that comes up where I don't know anyone, it's always, I don't know anyone who will use this. Let's use Cutco. I have a background in Cutco, and I say this freely, which is a direct sales organization. When I would tell somebody this, they're like, I don't know anyone who's going to buy Cutco. You're telling me you don't know anyone. And I would turn around, I'm like, when you say you don't know anyone, is it you really don't know anyone, or you don't know anyone who's going to buy Cutco? I would ask. And 99% of the time, I don't know anyone who's going to buy Cutco. Well, I didn't ask you who's going to buy Cutco. So in your situation, when someone says, I don't know anyone, I'm like, well, you don't know anyone, or you don't know anyone who's going to use tri-stip nails, or you don't know anyone who's going to use XYZ. And you peel that layer back. And like one of my favorite exercises to do is I do a full, I love you guys have listened, just brain dump. Like let's just talk it out loud. Let's just brain dump as many people and we'll just talk. And I'm sure you have the exercise to pull people out. But I think as you set that precedence up of people, anytime we come to a position of selling a product, specifically for people who don't have a sales background, who aren't professionally trained to sell something, they always assume that I have to sell something. Like I don't know who's going to buy. I don't know who I want to call. I don't know anybody who I want to host a party with. And I know this because I see it firsthand. I know people firsthand that are in my sphere of influence. When they try to build a business, they say I don't know anyone. But I'm going to put this objection to rest for you. And I'd love for your guys' take on this. If you started a coffee shop today and you made the best coffee in the world, who would you tell?
Everyone. I would post about it. I would ask my family and friends to share.
If you had a restaurant, would you do the same thing?
Yep.
Bar,
Yes.
Same thing. Plumbing company, right? It's no different than what your business is right now. And many times we look at it and say, our network, our sphere of influence of people around us people naturally want to help you succeed.
Mhm.
Like, and I'll say this, and if Catapulting Commissions family and my audience is coming to me from these ladies' networks, if you are surrounded by people who don't want to naturally see you succeed, I'm gonna say this on air, fuck them. Get them out of your life. They shouldn't be involved in your life to begin with.
Yeah.
But by default, anyone who's involved in your life around you is naturally going to want to see you succeed. They just don't know how to help you. So sometimes it's about saying, look, ask somebody, are you surrounded by people who want to see you succeed? Yes. If they answer no, right, well, then that's a different project, and they need to be within your community. Not solely because I'm going to help you become a millionaire overnight and I'm going to do this. You need to be in the community because I'm going to teach you something. It's going to be a different approach than someone else, right? There's two paths to success, right? There's always a path that everyone sees. There's a path that is a little bit more challenging. You might be on this path, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to get you there, because pain versus pleasure, if they say no to you and they're surrounded by people who don't want to see them succeed, they're just going to continue this negative circle downward. So I look at it as it is my responsibility, my moral compass to say, I'm going to have you work with me in my network. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I love hearing how sales people for non-sales people have these objections, and we're always feeling like I can't do something. You're giving yourself that excuse. How often do you get people come to you that are afraid of the sales process? Like, I don't want to sell anything.
Oh,
All the time.
majority. Yes. Majority of people.
Why do people buy your stuff?
They like it. It makes them feel good and it's affordable.
Yeah.
And they like personally, this is a social selling business, and they like the way we make them feel.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that?
So there are, thousands of stylists out there, but what sets us apart from other stylists is the way we make them feel through customer service, getting to know them. We don't just provide a product, but we provide an experience.
The experience you provide to your customers it's everything. If you look at it and you say, I'm going to provide you a customer experience at this level for my product, which is not incredibly absorbently expensively priced, but you provide a world-class experience, people remember that and are going to come back. If you go tomorrow and you go into a Chanel store and you buy a purse, and I've experienced this firsthand, they provide an experience. They make a whole, here's the experience. Do you want wine? Do you want champagne? Do you want salad? No, I don't, but it's from the moment you walk in, you're experiencing like this, oh my goodness. But when we provide that same experience for an everyday product, it really does stand out. Presentation is everything in that capacity. So I love the direction we're going in. We're going to pause here. All right. So I want to say thank you guys for joining the Catapulting Commissions show this week. Catapulting Commissions family, I have Charlotte and Kerry with me, who are two bona fide badass direct sales people. We are talking about the challenges and growth of excelling and succeeding in a direct sales organization. When we come back to the next episode, you will hear me. I'm going to pick their brains on how to sell without sounding like you're selling, because they talked about the sales experience, but I want to talk about let's sell. Like, because at the end of the day, this show's Catapulting Commissions. We want to make a commissionable dollar. You want to make a living. So we're going to come back to that on the next episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe today. Get connected. You will find their bios and social media links below, and I will see you guys next week.